You could have $500,000 invested in security network hardware and software, and one click could take down your whole organization.
Your email can warn you, but if you have that heart racing a little bit, oh my goodness, the CEO needs this now, you click that link, there's no unclick there.
If we're not training and someone does click a real link and you get hacked, and we're going back to like small organizations, you might not come back from that.
You could have all of the latest cybersecurity updates, all the latest hardware, all the latest equipment, spend thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars on that equipment and still be vulnerable. Why is that the case? And today we're going to talk about that with Abi Phillips and Shae Jensen. Abi Phillips, you are our modern work and learning engineer. Shae, you are our maintenance and onboarding specialist. I'm so glad to have you both here. I'd love to start out with a little game called Fact or Fiction. And I do this in some of my other episodes, but the reason I do this is because what I like to do is I like to go to Reddit, where all of the trolls of the internet live. And we get to take hot takes on cybersecurity, and I just want to hear from you guys what you think about it, okay? Is that fair?
Yeah, hit me.
Awesome. First hot take. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You could have $500,000 invested in security network hardware and software, and one click could take down your whole organization.
Fact.
Fact.
Mm-hmm.
Fact. At the end of the day, like, no matter how much software you have, no matter how much you've guarded the computers, humans are the ones operating these computers. And if they click into like a fake Microsoft login or give any credentials out, like, that's gone.
Well, think of all the tools like almost a gate. You know, you have your firewall, you have your antivirus and all of that, but the human is letting you in.
Yeah.
Like,
They just open up the
one click, I might be thinking that I'm entering my Microsoft credentials into a secure site. Nope.
I took that question a different way. It didn't specifically say one click from an end user in an email. It said one click. That could be an IT guy, you know, dealing with their Meraki network gear and like turning it all off with a click.
That's true too.
All right.
Yeah, and that could also be like one click missing a patch, you know, something like that.
Fair enough.
Port
There you go.
open,
Yeah.
I think there are lots of avenues to answer that
100%.
question. Good job.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Training is a waste of time and money. You can't fix stupid. It only shows you where the problem is.
Fiction.
Fiction.
Because it's not necessarily that people are stupid. It's just that they're unaware. You know, you have to retrain that behavior. So, you know, when we get emails and people are asking us questions, our impulse response is to then go get those answers, be helpful, all of that. So if we're not trained to look for those inconsistencies, then we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily stupid. It's just that they don't have the proper training.
Yeah, and I think along with that, it is fiction, but I think there is also a giant asterisk. There's a lot of people who are doing training and they're doing training wrong. And people are still watching the same video from 15 years ago that is insanely outdated.
Yeah.
And so they're not actually getting the proper training. And so people are writing it off that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And like studies have shown, like, time and time again, when it comes to cybersecurity training, it needs to be specialized for that employee.
Sure.
And if you're doing an all around same thing once a year, you know, like hour-long training, that's not going to soak in. I don't remember like yesterday. Why would I remember training I did 6 months ago?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. And here's the thing. I'm gonna come out and just say, hey, I did a stupid thing when I first started here. I was engaged with our HR manager at the time. We were working through some of my stuff, and I had gotten an email from the HR manager said, hey, Travis, we need your license number to add you to our insurance if you're driving for us. And I was like, oh yeah, not a problem. Add my license number along with my date of birth, send it in the email. And I was just like, because I didn't have customized training. I had come from a place before where I had, you know, the cybersecurity seminar where I sit down for an hour and they tell us all the things. But I mean, that's once a year.
And you didn't learn anything from it.
Well,
Apparently.
I did, because all of a sudden it was like, ha, gotcha. And I was like, what?
Oh. So it was a phishing simulation that you fell for?
Phishing
Ooh.
simulation.
Right, but again, that's not. I wouldn't necessarily call you stupid, but phishing has also become so sophisticated.
Yeah.
So it's HR is asking me for information that
You
they
got it.
for sure need. So why wouldn't I think twice about this?
It came
it's
from-
very personal.
Yep. And it came from HR at Insight. I had only been here for a week. So I saw it and I was like, duh, like it's HR. So I'm going to send my personal information to
It's important
HR.
to note we don't have a real HR department.
Yeah. So all that to say, I agree with you. I agree. It is fiction, because although I can make stupid decisions in the moment, I can learn from those decisions.
100%.
Next question. Tools don't fix people. Systems do. Fact or fiction?
Both.
Okay.
Tools help assist, but if the tools are just sitting on the shelf and no one's using them, then it's not going to do anything. So yes, it's not going to help prevent anything because no one's using them properly. But tools such as KnowBe4, which we haven't fully gotten into yet, so I'm kind of jumping ahead. But that's a system it's a tool that's using an automated system that's sending you personalized phishing attacks that are very personal to you, that you need to think twice about. Like, oh, this is something I do every day, so I'm just gonna send them the information that they need. It's like, no, slow down. Let's look at where the email is coming from, all of that.
I think that's very true, where I think there are lots of organizations, especially in our ICP or in our industry of manufacturing, where people are like, hey, I have the tool, so the problem shouldn't exist, which actually breaches into some of my next questions. And Abby, this one I think is specific towards you. I know and understand like your passion for KnowBe4 and what you do here with Modern Work and Learning and specific training and specialized training and all that stuff. We kind of alluded to this in the beginning where, hey, you can have all of the correct security, investments, tools, firewalls, hardware, all that stuff. But there's still this risk that's not necessarily mitigated with people. And so I guess my question is can you elaborate on that, or can you specifically talk about why people are still the issue?
I always like to preface that's like humans are my favorite. I love how creative and awesome we are. Like, it's so great. Computers are great, but they're, very logical and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But humans were also have emotions. And in the tech world, especially when it comes to cyber threats, social engineering, phishing, that sort of thing, they're going to suck out your emotions. And so being humans, when we see an urgent email, when we see someone needing help, we're going to have an emotional response. And that is just an amazing thing that makes us humans. But that also means that we're going to need training on how to handle the emotional response properly, because we need to add in the cybersecurity threat. We need to think about it in terms of logic rather than that emotional response. And so, at the end of the day, your email could even say, hey, this is an outside email, use caution. But if you click the link, you're still clicking the link, like your email can warn you. But if you have that heart racing a little bit, oh my goodness, the CEO needs this now, you click that link, there's no unclick there.
Yeah.
A huge part of cybersecurity that a lot of people don't think about and a lot of people tend to dismiss, especially manufacturing companies, is they think, oh, it's, company email, how they act on their company email. That is a tiny piece of it.
Okay.
But it's also what they do outside of work. And obviously, we don't ever want to be, big brother telling people what they can and can't do. But the thing is there's this crazy, sometimes fun, sometimes scary place called social media.
Okay.
And I'm in a bunch of Holland Facebook groups, and I can go in there. Like, I was in there yesterday, and
What's your favorite one? Can I ask? We'll give it a shout out here.
Ooh.
Holland is so ghetto.
Yes, I knew it was
That's-
going to be that one. It's my favorite too.
It's-
Pretty
it's-
sure it's
Travis-
so
Yes.
entertaining.
Travis
Yes.
has dropped that name on this podcast before.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
yes.
so good.
Yes. And if you go in there and you scroll, you're going to see gossip on Hayworth, on Miller Knoll, on all these big companies in the area.
Oh, no kidding.
Gentex.
Okay.
People are going to talk gossip about the company.
Okay.
And the thing is, if I was a cyber criminal, which I am not, I would
Just prefacing.
looking at the social media and saying,
Yeah.
this person works with this person doesn't like this person. And I could then have that
They could get a
inside
bunch out of it.
information.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you can look
And-
me up on LinkedIn and see my position, all of
Yeah.
my connections. You can get the logo to our company and add that into any email and make it look as official as you possibly can.
But yeah, there's a ton of like shop floor people communicating in there, people who most likely do not have organizational accounts. But if I were a cyber criminal, I could reach out to them on Facebook, say, oh, hey, I work this shift. And I could start asking them questions about their shift, about the company, all that kind of things. And if they don't have social media awareness on what they can talk about when it comes to work, then they could be giving out vital information that cyber criminals could then use. And that has nothing to do with the organization security. The organization security could be perfect. And instead, it's a shop floor worker talking about gossip because Mike was late for the third week in a row, and it's just those tiny things like that where like that could be a cyber criminal's into your organization.
Yeah, can we do like an on the fly exercise here, because you've given us so much information on that piece, which I think is really good. Talk about that specific piece of information, because it might not seem like something on a public forum where people are like, well, who cares? Mike's been late 3 times in a row this week. Like, what does that matter? Give us an example of how they might, like a cyber criminal might utilize that information.
One of the main things that we kind of see with cyber criminals is that they take on a certain persona.
Okay.
So if they could see that, say in this Mike is late situation, they could find someone who works, we'll say company A. I could then just create an account, make it look like this guy and say, hey,
Sure.
I'm Mike. Why are you talking trash about me on Facebook? And all this kind of stuff. And then maybe they could have a little bit of a conversation, talk about something else. Hey man, I forgot my code, my key card. Can you let me into the building?
So they're building credibility based off of what they're learning online then. So they're making simple observations then even off of social media, and then building credibility within the organization.
Oh, 100%. And it's so easy, especially in organizations. So like if we're talking shop floor, if we look at like LinkedIn percentages, we're not going to see a lot of LinkedIn percentages of shop floor people in LinkedIn. But if we look up at HR or the next layer, the
C-level,
departments,
sales.
then those people, we have their photos, we have their name. So all you need to do is create an account under that person and say, hey, this is Diana from HR. I saw you talking on Facebook about this. We need to have a discussion. Please click on this Zoom link to start this meeting. Boom.
You might not remember this, but I do. And when you were talking about human emotion, this is what came into my mind. Is I remember some of the first few phishing attempts from when I was a sophomore in high school. It was the King of Nigeria or Prince of Nigeria.
Oh,
right.
You got a real one.
Yeah, from
I
Yahoo.
never got one of those.
When the Prince of Nigeria emails you directly,
You have to send him some cash.
You have to send him some cash.
You got to send him
right?
some cash.
And that's not really phishing at that point. That's just like it is, but you're just sending them money, right? It's becoming a bit more sophisticated than that. And so I like what you highlight in the sense that like, hey, be really thoughtful in what you're engaging in on the social media side, because although it is personal, it can become professional in some way, especially if you're being watched, right?
Yeah.
As far as leadership is concerned, if you have a leader that's in a position that's like, hey, we're doing everything that we think we should be doing, what's a common misconception that a leader might face as it pertains to training?
That IT is the only one that owns it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
yeah. That's a great.
That was awesome.
That was a great.
I've never heard that answer before.
A great answer.
That's a great answer.
Yes, as IT people, we do own that. That is our job, but we can only take it so far. As in creating the systems, coming up with ideas on how to better secure our environment, putting together trainings, proposals, those kinds of things, and making sure that leadership, everyone above, understands the importance of it. It's like, hey, we're not trying to waste time and money and all this. Like, this is important.
But if that doesn't get pushed further from the teams and the managers and everybody else,
we can push out phishing simulations and all of that.
Certainly.
But also people can just be like, I don't want to do this right now. I don't have time. This isn't important. This
and
is
you're not babysitters. You're not. Your job shouldn't be to. Hey, did Sally and Jerry fill this out by 3 o'clock?
People could assume like, oh, this IT's got it. It's their job to make sure my system is secure. To an extent, yes, but I can only do as much as the tools allow me to, and then it's on you.
Yeah.
So I can't stop you from clicking on links. I can't sit next to you and watch over your shoulder and be like, don't send out that information. Don't click that. Don't download that. So I think it's also important that leadership supports the IT team.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, this is really important. You need to get this training done. Like, take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, like if you need to block time out on your calendar, do so.
You know what, just going off of that, because that's such a key like point and issue that we see when it comes to like security training, is that we need leadership to all be on the same page. And like the most successful clients we have at KnowBe4, shout out to Eric. I won't say anything but Eric, if you're watching this, shout out to you.
You know who you are.
You know who you are. It's the ones that we have it set up that it messages the managers when their people aren't completing training or their admins. And it's getting that level of kind of almost like commitment from them saying, hey, you know exactly which one of your employees aren't doing this. This now falls onto you, and kind of sharing that responsibility. Then we're going to see a whole lot of better efforts across the board. And we're going to also get better feedback across the board. Yeah.
What does the feedback and what does the training provide for you?
Feedback is absolutely huge, and it's been a huge part of us shaping KnowBe4 the way we have. Hey, this video is too long for our organization. Hey, this video is too short. And it's kind of finding that perfect spot that works with the company, because we can't approach it as one size fits all.
Yeah.
Because a manufacturing company is not the same as a hospital, which is not the same as a nonprofit.
Sure.
Like, we need to have diversity, and we need to have training that reflects their needs and also their time constraints of the day, because doctors are not going to be on their computer 24/7.
Sure.
Where like IT in a manufacturing company, I hope they're on their computers most of the day, you know, like it's just a mix.
We didn't quite jump into KnowBe4, but we've alluded to it and we've talked about it a little bit. What is KnowBe4?
It is a cybersecurity kind of training platform with many different outlets. So it's hard to classify it as just training. Most people will know it as a phishing simulation that they get in their inbox every 2 weeks. But it actually has a really diverse amount of knowledge that we can spread from thousands and thousands of different training videos on different subjects. It is not just for phishing, is the big one, not just for phishing.
Okay.
I mean, we can explore malware, we can explore spear phishing, smishing, which is a fun one to say.
What's smishing?
Smishing?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
Smishing.
SMS phishing.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, through mobile.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
So we were just talking about smishing.
Yes.
Spear phishing.
Yes.
Can you tell me what spear phishing is?
Ooh.
Spear phishing is a more direct hit when it comes to phishing. So for an example, the phishing attacks that we saw in 2013 and 2015 with Facebook and Google. First, in 2013, they sent Google a bunch of invoices pretending to be a vendor of Google.
Okay.
And they got like 20 million from them.
Yeah.
Did the same thing in 2015 to Facebook, got like 90 million from them.
Okay.
So it's when you're using kind of like a direct hit. So like right with them, they're like, we know this is your vendor. We're going to spoof their logo. We're going to spoof these invoices. We're going to spoof these contracts. We're going to hit you right there kind of deal.
Okay.
Specificity.
Yes.
So
yes.
Question then, can a phishing email that's just regular phishing and like a spear phishing, can they use the same tactic to, I guess, infiltrate?
They all do kind of follow the same thing. They're going to try to create a personal connection.
Okay.
They're all going to try to have some sense of urgency is going to be an often shared trait.
Okay.
And then a lot of them, especially with AI now, they are going to try to have some sort of almost like spear tactic, whether it's going to be like a vendor, an employee, someone you know, a church you go to. They're going to have some sort of connection that they're going to try to make with you. I mean, we do still sometimes see like phishing emails where it's like, you've won money, click here. But a lot of times it's going to be like, hey, it's Spotify and someone logged in your account. Was that you? And you're going to be like, that wasn't me. And then you click and then, boom.
So then the spear phishing kind of comes in when it is more of that vendor or like a more of a direct way in then is what I'm hearing you say. Okay.
Yeah. And that's like, I say it all the time, but specialized training for departments, like C-suite needs specialized training, IT, finance, like anyone who has PIM, privileged, any like sort of privileged access, like everyone needs this specialized training because they're going to be hit with specialized attacks.
Can you go into what that actually looks like? So when you say specialized training, I think when we talk about cybersecurity training in general, well, my mind goes to, okay, we're going to have an hour-long seminar with our CTO, and he's going to tell us all the risks, and then we're probably going to watch some video, and then I'm going to have a 30-question quiz at the end. But what you're talking about is very different, or it seems very different. Can you break down what specialized training actually looks like for KnowBe4 and what we do?
Yeah. So KnowBe4 is amazing that it has a lot of like, if you like went to the mod store, which I think you can access if you don't have an account, you can still like see what videos they offer.
Okay.
But you can search the department and they'll tell you all the different videos they recommend for that department to watch.
Gotcha.
And it can be based on different policy standards. Say like, oh, you're in the United States, or, California, they always have special policies. So like, you need to know this, you need to know this. Say for accounting, they're going to have some privileged access. So we need to teach them how to use that privileged access. Say, hey, you're going to be able to see people's payroll. This is how you need to act. This is where you can put things. This is where you can't put things. Like how to keep your documents secure.
Yeah.
Where shop floor workers, they may not need to worry about seeing people's payroll. Or wire fraud. Or checking if invoices are valid. Things of that nature.
I never thought about that. Of course, I want HR to have specific HR videos and like training.
Yeah,
sure.
That makes so much perfect sense that I as someone in IT, I never even thought about that.
Yeah. Or my favorite one is there's one for executives because I've seen it at like a company. It wasn't at work. It was just me wandering around a company. And on a whiteboard, they had password and then like written out a random password. And I was like, that is insane. What is this password for? And why is it in public view in this meeting room?
They wanted you to write it down.
But the thing is like executives need training. And like the one I really like, it's called like boardroom etiquette. And it's like, do not write personal things on a whiteboard.
Sure.
And whenever I see that, I'm like, you don't think you would need to say that? But I have witnessed it and you need to say that. And it's just really key to make sure that these groups are also getting just the care that they need. And with this care is we see better progress from them because they're not watching the same video that everyone else is watching that, again, was made in 2005.
Yeah.
They're watching, hey, this applies to you and you need to know this because of your job. Then it's going to have a lot more of a positive reaction from that group and a lot more of a better understanding of what their role requirements are in terms of cybersecurity awareness.
Yeah, and I love what you're talking about too, because having the training fit and make it more contextual to what their actual role is, that really does make a difference. And I think this even plays back to our initial question, which was that hot take, right? Which is which works better, tools or systems? But what we're talking about is actively reinforcing the tool itself. So the active reinforcement is the system to the tool of KnowBe4. So KnowBe4 becomes kind of this platform that we utilize, and then the system is that active reinforcement of no. There's going to be specific and contextualized training, and then on top of that leadership, we need to make sure that we're holding people accountable to that training, and we're continuing to grow and evolve as the cyber threat continues to grow and evolve as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not just ransomware anymore, right? It's not just malware. It is cyber criminals. Something that, and I think I've referenced this before, something that blew my mind when I first started working at Insight is that there were warehouses full of people looking to breach into multi-million-dollar organizations and just like little organizations as well.
No one's safe. It doesn't matter how big or small your organization is. You also don't even need to be a part of an organization. I mean, in my day-to-day personal life, I'm getting texts about tolls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, you want my bank account? Please
Yeah.
leave it alone.
Yeah. There's like $5,000 in there. They're like, we'll take it. Like, they're cool with it.
Yeah, and I think something big is like, yes, there are those warehouses, but one of the biggest targets is going to be small and medium-sized businesses. Those corporations worth multi-million dollars, like obviously sometimes they do get, attacked, but they recoup.
They have some locks in place that other businesses might not.
They recoup. They have some of the best cybersecurity people in the planet. They do fantastic. They protect themselves. The small to medium businesses are the easier targets. Where the passwords are easier to get through. There's less systems to bypass. And they're also the most vulnerable target because like when it comes to cyber crimes, like 1 in 5 small to medium-sized business do not recover after having a cyber attack.
I read that as well, actually, which was, it makes me really sad, especially knowing like America is kind of built on that small business, right? And so that's people's livelihoods, and it's not just the owner of the business; it's the people that work for that business as well. It's incredibly sad. Who is it, in your experience, that tends to not be utilizing the tool and then the system of reinforcement? Is it the smaller medium, or is it the larger organizations? Or is it both?
See, that's tough because the larger organizations, they have the funding to ask for these additional trainings and these complex setups.
Sure.
And these automated, timed out trainings in certain places. So a lot of times when we get those bigger, like we're looking at like 150 up when it comes to number of users, they're going to ask for a lot. Because they have the means and the funding to say, we're going to have a complex cybersecurity system.
Sure.
But then small to medium-sized businesses, there's kind of like two schools of thoughts. Either they're like, let's just get what we can out of like the things we have for free, or it's just kind of like, this doesn't apply to us,
Yeah.
Like,
Right, because they have that misconception of we're so small, why would they target us?
True, exactly. And it's like, yeah, you're so small, that's exactly why you would get targeted.
It's really funny because I can't even tell you the number of times that I've heard that comment. Even to the point where sometimes people, like, they will pay for KnowBe4 but not utilize KnowBe4. And I'm like, well, we'll ask the question, well, why do you not want to utilize KnowBe4? And it's usually like, hey, number one, the emails are taking too much time. It is 10 minutes of your time, if that.
KnowBe4 has the phishing alert button, or PAB,
Yep.
PAB, whatever you want to call it. So it's built into Outlook.
Yeah.
So if I get an email and I'm like, I think this is phishing, I can go ahead and click Phish Alert.
Yep.
And if it was simulated from KnowBe4, it'll be like, congratulations. If you fail, you automatically get put into a training.
You're enrolled.
Whether it's a video or a quick quiz or anything like that. Because it's also trying to immediately be like, okay,
This is why.
Hey, you failed this. Like, this is important, and try and kind of reinforce, like, hey, do this real quick. It'll take 5 minutes. I want to
put myself in the position of that person, because I've been that person who I've been here 4 years. I think I've failed like 3. There's like this immediate amount of shame that like pours over me.
Yes. Yes.
I
want to call in sick the next day.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, they got me. But there are times where like the training that you've come up with are so good. There's one in particular that I can think of where it came from an internal resource source where I was like, oh, I know this person, and I clicked on a link, because sometimes we send links, not anymore. So
also going back to what you said about like feeling shame and all that, I feel like it kind of goes back to who owns this and leadership and needing all that support, because it needs to be encouraging. Like, hey, like, again, like, it's not that you're stupid. It's just that this was personalized to make you not question it.
You got it.
So you need to have that incentive of like, hey, like, don't be ashamed. We all mess up sometimes. When we were at the Know Before conference, it was also, people were talking about how some companies internally, they will use like scoreboards, and so it kind of becomes a competition of like,
gamified.
Hey, like, I haven't failed any this month, like I'm at the top of the leaderboard.
That's what I would want to be doing.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was gonna say, is that initially there's like, oh shoot, they got me. Like there's this like initial, and even if it's brief, it's like, oh, shame, or like, oh, anger sometimes, like they got me. But then you start the training, and it's actually really valuable, because when you do get me, the reason that I feel the shame or the reason that I feel the anger is because that I didn't have this skill that I needed to pick up on it. And I like, in my mind, I'm fighting you guys. Like, I'm like, they're not going to get me. And you do. Like, and then, so the training comes through. It is very, very valuable. But to bring it back to the smaller org that's like, hey, it's taking too much time for the training. If you fail, it's 5 to 10 minutes of your time for the training. And then on top of that, you are building a skill that's going to protect your organization. And I want to bring that to our attention, because I want to talk about the cost, and not just for small organizations, but the larger organizations as well. If you're a larger organization, and I mean, 300, 200, 300, 400 and up, and you're not utilizing this, the more people that you have in your organization, the more risk that you're running that you might be hit because of somebody not being trained. The smaller organization, because it's not on your radar and you're not even thinking about it, or you're paying for Know Before and you're not utilizing it, you're not being trained. And so what is the cost for small business, mid-level business, and large organization?
It's all about the upfront cost as well. As yes, you're spending money now, but if we're not training and someone does click a real link and you get hacked, and we're going back to like small organizations, you might not come back from that. So wouldn't you rather spend the money now than have all your money gone?
Let's say a small organization, 4 million or less. Why is it that they might not come back from that?
The main thing is just the costs that come with a cyber attack. No matter how they get entry, I mean, a lot of data shows that the most likely way they're going to get entry is through some form of social engineering. So we're looking at phishing, and any other social engineering aspects, which could come from social media, anything of that nature. Those type of attacks, hopefully you have cybersecurity insurance, except a lot of small to medium businesses do not have cybersecurity insurance. That means you pay out of pocket. Typically, with ransoms and situations like that, it's gone. And that's kind of the strategy you need to think of when something like that happens. The data, any money they may have taken, none of that's coming back.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of ends up being the sad truth in a lot of cases. And another huge finance piece that people don't think about is, okay, they hacked our server where all our data is kept. We have to stop production for a week and reformat everything. And okay, what are the costs for stopping production for a week? What is going to be?
On average, 1 hour is $22,000 an hour.
Ooh.
On average, in West Michigan, at least.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
Downtime. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's those secret costs like that end up doing the most harm. Production, employees needing to get paid. Things like that. And at the end of the day, small to medium businesses, it's just a lot more tough for them to survive an attack like that. If we're talking about corporations, Facebook had 90 million stolen from them, and they didn't really blink an eye, and they recouped that loss very quickly.
Yeah.
90 million was stolen from a small business. That's not going to be the same case.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You can spend a lot of money on planning and preventing, but the whole point of that is to spend less than if you were to be caught off guard or screwed or breached or whatever,
I
right?
mean, think about like health insurance and car insurance. You're paying for things that you're hoping that you never have to use.
It's like going to the gym, kind of, right? I'm going to go to the gym so that I don't have to have surgery.
That's a great
way
to look at it.
That's definitely a better analogy.
Because the reality of it is you're talking about ROI. And when you're talking about small business or any organization, they're going to be looking at this and saying, well, yeah, I'm going to, work through cybersecurity, and we're gonna pick and choose whether it's going to be a one-time seminar or it's going to be that tool with the active reinforcement system in place. But why would I pick the active reinforcement? If I do the one-time, or it could be, I'm going to break this down financially, and the one-time cybersecurity should be fine. But then you think about, okay, if it is small business or if it is large org, and we are implementing a tool with a reinforcing system, that actually it feels like a bit more, right? Mm-hmm. But the reality of it is, if you're calculating cost in your head, if something does happen, or even in a spreadsheet, if something does happen, the ROI is significant. And like you said before, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And thinking through not just training, but your whole cybersecurity approach in general is something that every organization should be doing. Know before is just a piece of your cybersecurity journey, not the whole thing. But the training piece is incredibly important to make sure that you're kind of at least addressing the most vulnerable part, which we've said is the human themselves.
Yeah. And something I want to add to is there's an ROI that a lot of people don't talk about with cybersecurity training, and that's the ROI the community gets.
Okay.
And that's because when you are training people for these cybersecurity situations, yes, it applies to the company. It also applies to them outside of the company a lot of the times. Hey, don't use public Wi-Fi's without a password, all this kind of stuff. And I'm pretty sure like everyone in this room, we can name at least one person we've known who has fallen for a cyber scam of some sort.
Yeah.
Like I personally know a few people who have lost thousands of dollars because of cyber scams. And when companies train their employees, that's going to trickle down and have the employees train their families.
Yeah.
And it's not only going to lead to a stronger company, you're going to lead to a stronger community, because more people are going to have the skills they need, and a huge population who will say, I hate know before training, which is typically, we're looking at kind of like the 50 and up range. They are also going to be the most likely to become victims to cyber crimes.
We all know we have the older parents or the grandparents, that might be more susceptible to fall for personal email phishing attacks. Obviously, they might be retired, they don't work in a business, they don't get cybersecurity training. But as we're learning this stuff, we need to be sharing it.
Yes.
And I'm sure a lot of us unintentionally, we begrudgingly, Mom, no, don't click that. She's texting you. I get those texts all the time. Should I be clicking this link in this email? At least she's smart enough to ask me and not just do it.
Yeah.
Like that makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
But it's like it happens 4 times a week. And
of course.
Oh my gosh. We need to we need to share what we've learned. And a lot of people miss this whole boat of learning about this stuff through the work atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
It didn't exist when they went through time.
It's such an essential training, not only for companies, but for humans.
Yeah.
And like as humans, we should be supporting each other and training each other to be safe and to be aware. But as a company, think of it not only as an investment to keep your company safe, but to keep your community safe.
Yeah.
To look at your employee not only as an employee meant to guard your kingdom, but also to guard his own kingdom, to protect their family and to train their family. Because some people, they just don't know, and they shouldn't be punished for that. And they are going to be the exact people cyber criminals look to target.
Yeah. And you already alluded to the younger generation. We kind of assumed the older generation needing help, but it's even better giving knowledge to the younger generation, because they're getting into it, and it's going to be evolution in all differences. And if the earlier they know about it now, like kids being taught maybe in school about whatever in their technology class about hacking, like whatever you were saying. I didn't even think of that. That makes perfect sense. And I need to go ask my kids. I'm like, have you ever learned anything else in school? Maybe we should get a program going at your school, because you guys need to know about this even more so than me, because 15 years from now, it's going to be a different ball game, and you guys have to be smarter than we are today.
I mean, it's already getting so sophisticated, especially with AI and all that. It's only going to be harder and harder to detect.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I'm sure if everyone's like gone through Facebook and like they've seen like an older relative be like, look at this bear on a trampoline. And I'm like, oh, grandma, that's AI, baby. That's not real.
That's AI, baby.
And that's why you need software like KnowBe4. Like we could go to the KnowBe4 conference and we're like, okay, this is going to be great. It's going to be overwhelming. It's going to be fun. Cybersecurity and 100-degree weather. What could go wrong? But then they say, hey, we've seen this. We see how complex things are getting, and we're going to match it.
Yeah.
So a huge thing that rolled out was a deepfake generator.
Okay.
That we can take a video of someone from your organization. Say if we could use Mike, we could take a video of him, like 30 seconds. I could upload it. Then we could get him to say what we wanted. And we could have it
That's incredible.
entice people, get them to respond, get that emotional, pull.
Yeah.
And, that's not an email from Starbucks. That is customized to your company.
It's next level.
But the thing is, the one thing that's going to come out of cybersecurity and will continue to evolve to be better and better is the customization of it.
Yeah.
Especially with AI.
Yep.
Like, not to keep going back to it, but in 2013, 2015, hackers were creating just, a fake version of a company and were able to scam hundreds of millions of dollars from big name companies.
Yeah.
And they did that by hand. They changed those logos by hand. They created these invoices by hand.
Sure.
I can generate an invoice in Copilot in 2 minutes if I wanted to. It's way too easy now.
Right.
And that just means we've got to be better, and we've got to have that training.
Because it'll flip-flop, just like everything else flip-flops.
Yeah.
Hopefully a decade from now, we won't be talking about the repercussions of cyber criminality, and we'll be on the upswing, and we'll have all these protections, and we're thinking about the next thing, and then it'll just cycle back.
AI is huge, obviously, right now. It's skyrocketed, and it's also skyrocketed in cybercrime. And the thing is, us, youngins here, we look at the bear on the trampoline, and we're like, that's AI. So we think we know, but you ever have it where you're watching, you're like,
I don't know if that's real or not.
And you don't know. And so we need these tools, and we need to know the warning signs because it's just getting better.
Yeah.
And this is just like the start of a really crazy exponential line that's happening.
Yeah. Just a couple more questions I wanted to kind of discuss with you, and bringing it back to the organizational piece as well. What should leaders expect? Previously we had talked about, hey, leaders really owning the system in place along with the tool, which is that contextualized training. When leaders start to implement that, what is it that they should start to expect to see within culture or within each individual employee?
That is a great question, because it always kind of gets the answers that leadership doesn't want to hear. First off, it's not going to be perfect.
Okay.
There will be pushback. And like the number one thing you'll get is, oh, I'm too busy to do this. Oh, this doesn't apply to me. All that kind of stuff. And
why do you think that is?
People don't like change.
Okay.
I think I do it too. I take care of our clients and KnowBe4, and then, we would get those Arctic Wolf videos, and I'm like, delete, not doing that. I run KnowBe4. Why do I need to do that? And that's me needing to check myself and be like, no, I am a part of this organization. It's kind of like you need to get it into your culture and not just make it hey, if you don't do this you'll be punished kind of mindset, but more like, this is how we're doing things and it's for the good and this is why. I think a lot of companies sometimes when they approach cybersecurity training, this is a mandated video. Please watch this mandated video.
Yeah.
And they don't leave space for people to give their feedback and space for people to have concerns or people to look at it and say, I don't understand. And that's kind of the beauty of doing it with KnowBe4 is because I get to firsthand see how people are responding because we get those feedback options. But something that's, I think, the biggest and kind of like what sets insight with how we run KnowBe4 is that if the organization allows us, we like to start out with what's called the SAPA, and that is the Security Awareness Proficiency Assessment. And that is a 10-minute assessment. It goes out to everyone in the organization. If they have a company email, they're getting that assessment.
Yeah.
And then we can go through and first we can look at their scores. And this is kind of graded on like the 7 pillars of cybersecurity awareness. So we're thinking like internet security, we're thinking passwords and authentication, all the things that make up a strong cybersecurity base for an organization. And from that assessment, we can see who are the low scorers and we can think, okay, these people need additional trainings. We can also look at, as a company, you guys are really struggling with passwords. So we're going to send out specialized password training for your people. And we can even brand it to make it look like it's coming directly from your company. Or, but the most key thing that we find in the SAPA is what I like to call the troublemakers. And what we can do is when we look at it, we see how much time they spent on it and what was their score. And if it's a 10-minute assessment and they spent 30 seconds and got 0 correct, I think we know what they did, which is
Troublemaker.
They didn't care.
Troublemaker.
Yeah. And that immediately gives us these red flags, and we can go to the IT person and be like, hey, these people, we don't think they dedicated time to this assessment. This assessment's important. And that kind of sets a good foundation for KnowBe4 beginning with that company that they're like, hey, we are checking this. And you did not do what we were expecting you to do with this assessment.
So you're talking
gonna
about
take it again.
accountability, right?
Yeah, and setting up that accountability right at the beginning is going to be key for success in KnowBe4. If people don't think we care or don't think we're looking, then we're going to have a lot of, troublemakers. We're going to have high phish prone percentage and we're going to have high risk users, none of which is a good thing.
Yeah. And so I love what you're saying here because what you're talking about is building a culture, right? And so you had alluded to something, which is a lot of times people may have complaints like, hey, this video is too long, or I don't really need this training, or why am I doing this? And the initial question was, well, why do we do that? And I think you had said something, Shae, where you were like, well, a lot of times people don't like change. I think that's partially it.
I think it's a lot of different factors.
Yeah, totally. But I think what you're saying is, hey, setting that accountability is so important in building the culture in and of itself, which is, hey, if we're going to be serious about protecting our organization, protecting our people, because like you said, it's not just the organization, it's also you're training people for their personal lives as well. Like I'm not going to click on that smishing, right? But that culture is what's so important to support the tool.
And I think it's important for leadership, managers, and all of that to also explain that. Like, hey, we're not just quizzing you to quiz you.
Yeah,
like,
we have to.
We're not trying to be mean. We're not trying to add things to your plate or anything. Like, here's the importance and here's why you have to do it. And it goes beyond just within our organization and extends to your personal life as well.
Yeah. What I think is so cool about that portion is being able to identify the people that are like, hey, I just pencil whipped this so I could be done with it. And then they can go and they can say, hey, listen, we know this is a pain. Like, I know that this is not what you want to be doing with your time, but this is why it's important. It's going to protect us financially. It's going to protect our data. It's also going to help train you to protect your own finances and your own data. And we really need to get after this. And not as a means, like you said, to slap the hand, but as a means of training and saying, hey, this is something we are doing because it's important and it helps protect everybody here.
Yeah. And that's like another great thing with using the KnowBe4 platform is that as we go on and as we send out simulations and things like that, we can see who is really struggling And so then when it comes to training, we can opt out people who are doing really good.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be everyone. And it doesn't have to be, oh, I don't have the time for this. I don't need this. We can say, you know what? We looked at the data. You were right. You're doing really good. Maybe you don't need this. We'll opt you out of this.
Sure.
And it's just kind of having that perspective. And this data, I mean, it stays with us. So like if that person leaves the company and then they come back, we still have their archived data and know before. And that can be really great for a lot of like any security audits are needed. Hey, this person, you know, they clicked, there's a little incident, you know, we can look at their scores and say, hey, you know, this person actually seems to have been struggling. So that really seems likely that they could have been the one to click this, you know,
Sure.
Situations like that.
Last question. This is how I wrap things up. It's if you could give someone something for free, that's what I say. As far as, you know, training, cybersecurity, anything that you might be able to give somebody that might be leading an organization or may just be like really concerned with cybersecurity in general, what's the one free thing you'd give them?
The phishing attacks, all those attempts are never going to go away. I mean, they've been here since technology starts. It's going to evolve with our technology.
When the Prince of Nigeria.
That's my
Right?
favorite.
That
When
was-
the Prince of Nigeria reaches out, don't give him money.
Yeah,
He doesn't need it. He's
that's a
okay.
Michael Scott quote, by the way. I'm stealing, but
But it's that we can relearn our behavior. Don't let it intimidate you.
yeah,
You know, it's all about practice and knowing what to look for.
Yeah.
And you can learn that. So don't be afraid. I mean, be afraid.
But don't be afraid.
But don't be afraid.
yeah, I love it.
Be skeptical.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like as humans, we want to, you know, give everyone the benefit of the doubt and just be like, oh, like, Travis emailed me. He wants my license number. Like, okay, here you go.
it's for car
Like,
insurance.
But
It's
you
for the
know,
insurance.
it's just think twice.
Yeah.
Think twice before you give out information and before you click on things.
I'm going to cheat and do two.
Please.
Okay. First is to verify everything.
Verify.
And if someone calls you, make them think that you are insanely paranoid. If it's your bank calling you, asking you questions about your account, and they're like, oh, can you name a recent purchase? Start out with, can you name a recent purchase? Always question what people are doing. And this kind of leads into the second one. Things on the internet do not go away. If you click, you cannot unclick. If you send out personal data, you cannot get that data back. So
That is great advice.
Yep.
the one thing that phishing emails do not have a real good way to replicate is always check the reply to in the header.
Ooh.
If you
we're
look-
charging for that one, $250.
Oh, also don't
Check the
scan
reply
random
to
QR
email.
codes. You can't really hover over a QR code, but
Yes, if there are QR codes posted on a light post, they are not for you to scan. I'm telling you that right now. The internet is the Wild West, and at the end of the day, always be overly cautious. I'm going to add one third thing, because I've seen a lot of people fall for this scam in the past 3 years. Microsoft will never call you. It will never call you and ask to remote into your computer.
That's
Yeah.
a good.
If
that's a
if
good
Microsoft
Yeah.
says, if someone calls you and say, hey, I'm from Microsoft, I need a remote into your computer, block
Hang-
the number.
hang up on 'em, yeah.
Block
Yeah.
the number. They will never call you. And it's
a
a
great
really
point.
common scam. My grandma fell for it. And it's a really tough one to navigate for people who aren't tech savvy. But just know Microsoft will never call you or try to remote into your computer.
Abi Phillips, Shae Jensen, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here and spending your time with us.